Every morning, millions of older adults wake up and do everything right. They blend a handful of spinach into their smoothie. They slice a tomato over their salad at lunch. They bake a potato for dinner because, well, it's better than fried. And they start the day with a tall glass of orange juice because that's what healthy people do. And if your kidneys are working perfectly, that's a fine day. But if you're over 60, and especially if you have any level of chronic kidney disease, even early stage, even if no one's told you it's serious yet, that same day could be quietly pushing your heart toward a dangerous place. I'm Dr. Grace Wells. I work with older adults on kidney and metabolic health, and I've spent years helping people understand why eating healthy and eating safely for your kidneys are not always the same thing. Today, I want to walk you through 5 vegetables, and 1 fruit, that show up constantly in senior health advice. Foods that genuinely are nutritious for most people. But for anyone managing kidney disease after 60, they carry a specific risk that most doctors don't take the time to explain. And once you understand why, everything else will make sense. Let's start with the reason all of this matters. Your kidneys are filters. Every minute of every day, they pull waste, excess fluid, and minerals out of your blood and send them out through your urine. One of the minerals they manage is potassium. Potassium is essential. Your heart, your muscles, your nerves, they all depend on it. The problem isn't potassium itself. The problem is what happens when your kidneys can no longer remove it fast enough. In healthy kidneys, excess potassium leaves the body easily. But when kidney function drops, and in chronic kidney disease it does, potassium starts to build up in the blood. This is called hyperkalemia, and this is where it gets serious. When potassium levels rise too high, the electrical signals that control your heartbeat begin to misfire. You might feel nothing at first, maybe some muscle weakness, maybe fatigue you chalk up to age. But at a certain point, elevated potassium can trigger an irregular heartbeat, and in severe cases, it can cause the heart to stop. This isn't rare. Hyperkalemia is one of the leading causes of sudden cardiac death in people with kidney disease, and it often happens with no warning. So when I tell you to pay attention to high potassium foods, I want you to understand. This isn't about minor dietary tweaking. This is about protecting your heart. Now let's talk about the 5 foods. The first one is spinach. Spinach is genuinely one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. Iron, folate, vitamin K, it's impressive. And raw spinach has made its way into almost every senior health smoothie on the internet. But 1 cup of cooked spinach contains around 840 milligrams of potassium. That's nearly a full day's recommended limit for someone with moderate kidney disease in a single serving. And spinach has a second problem. It's extremely high in oxalates, which are compounds that bind to calcium in the body. In people with reduced kidney function, oxalates can contribute to kidney stone formation and accelerate kidney damage over time. So spinach gets a double mark. The safe alternative here is kale, specifically boiled kale with the water discarded. Boiling leafy greens and draining the liquid actually pulls a significant portion of the potassium out of the plant. You keep a lot of the other nutrients. The potassium drops substantially. This technique is called leaching, and I'll come back to it. The second food is tomatoes. This one surprises people because tomatoes feel light, fresh, low-calorie, healthy in an uncomplicated way. And a single slice? That's fine. But the way most people eat tomatoes, the potassium adds up fast. 1 medium tomato runs about 290 milligrams of potassium. A cup of tomato sauce, the kind that goes on pasta, on chicken, in soup, can exceed 700 milligrams. Tomato paste is even more concentrated. For someone who's been told to keep their daily potassium under 2,000 milligrams, a generous bowl of pasta with marinara sauce can already put them at the limit before dinner is over. The alternative is roasted red bell pepper, lower in potassium, still gives you that rich, slightly sweet flavor in sauces and salads, and works beautifully when you're cooking for yourself. The third food is avocado, and this one I want you to sit with for a moment. Avocado has been marketed aggressively as a superfood for the past decade. Healthy fats, fiber, great for your heart. And for people with healthy kidneys, that's all true. But a single whole avocado contains around 975 milligrams of potassium. That is among the highest potassium concentrations of any commonly eaten food. Half an avocado, what most people would consider a reasonable serving on toast or in a salad, puts you near 500 milligrams from that one item alone. I'm not saying never touch it again, but if you have kidney disease and you're eating avocado regularly without tracking, you may be unknowingly starting each day in potassium debt before anything else hits your plate. The alternative is cucumber or zucchini. Both have mild flavor, work in the same kinds of dishes, and come in at a fraction of the potassium load. The fourth food is the potato, and this one has a workaround worth knowing. A medium baked potato has roughly 900 milligrams of potassium. That's significant. But here's something important. Potassium is water soluble. If you peel the potato, cut it into small cubes, boil it in a large amount of water, and then discard that water before eating, you can reduce the potassium content by 30 to 50%. Sometimes more, depending on the potato size and how long you boil it. This leaching method works for many root vegetables and some other high potassium options. It doesn't eliminate the potassium, but it meaningfully reduces the amount your body absorbs. So potatoes don't have to disappear entirely. They just need to be prepared differently. And you should never eat the skin, which is where a large portion of the potassium concentrates. The lower potassium alternatives include white rice and cauliflower, both of which you can mash, roast, or use as a side in the same way you'd use potato. The fifth is orange juice, and this one is about habits more than anything else. Orange juice is almost culturally mandatory at breakfast in many households. It feels clean, healthy, full of vitamin C, but an 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains around 470 milligrams of potassium. And many people pour themselves 12 or 16 ounces without thinking about it. Combined with a high potassium breakfast, eggs, spinach, maybe some tomato on the side, you can already be approaching your daily limit before 9 a.m. The alternative I recommend most often is apple juice, which has significantly less potassium, or simply water with a slice of lemon. Now I want to give you something practical to walk away with. A kidney-safe shopping list for the week doesn't have to be bland or depressing, it just has to be informed. For produce, reach for green beans, cabbage, cauliflower, cucumber, zucchini, white or jasmine rice, apples, blueberries, grapes, and white bread or white pasta in reasonable amounts. Avoid or strictly limit spinach, tomatoes, and tomato products, avocado, potatoes unless leached, oranges and orange juice, bananas, and dried fruits of any kind. Raisins and apricots are potassium dense in a concentrated way that catches people off guard. And always, check with your nephrologist or dietitian before making major changes. One last thing before we close. If you've been eating some of these foods regularly and you're feeling fine, please don't panic. Dietary potassium builds up gradually. Your doctor can check your potassium levels with a simple blood test. If your numbers are currently in a safe range, that's useful information. If they're elevated, now you have a clearer picture of why. The goal isn't fear, it's awareness, because once you understand what your kidneys are dealing with, you can make choices that actually support them, rather than choices that look healthy on the surface but work against you quietly over time. That's what this channel is here for. On Thursday, we're going to talk about something that might be sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, a painkiller that millions of older adults take every week without thinking twice, and why it has become the #1 drug-related cause of kidney damage after 60. That one you don't want to miss. I'm Dr. Grace Wells. Take care of those kidneys and I'll see you Thursday.